18 years ago. On a fateful day, the very sky was torn asunder. It was no ordinary storm, but a cataclysmic rage of nature, with violent pink and purple lightning striking against the dark, brooding canvas above. Amidst this chaos, looming over the metropolitan skyline below, an extraordinary object made its presence known. The sudden appearance of the tower. The world would be forever changed by that terrifying moment. And then with the tower came the appearance of gates. They were brilliant blue energy vortices, opening pathways to other realms. But with these gateways came the terror. Monsters that flooded out from them. Grotesque entities, from a massive shadowy serpent to hordes of horned crimson demons, spilled forth like a tidal wave, threatening to consume all of humanity. In that despair, humanity was not entirely lost. As the shadows fell, a thin thread of hope emerged. It was the small number of people that awakened to superhuman abilities. Bravely stepping into the treacherous gates, these cloaked champions stood on the front line, taking on the burden of defending the world against the monstrous threat. These individuals, armed with their newfound power, were dubbed the Players. They banded together, gleaming with weapons and armor, each one a fierce warrior with determined eyes. They became the hope of humanity and grew into a new faction, an army of light, ready to step into the endless war against the darkness. With the rise of the player economy, the world underwent a dramatic shift in power and wealth. Amidst the brilliant golden light and the towering spires of a new society, currency notes soar like birds. Players have now become the symbol of wealth, as well as respected heroes. Power brought fame, and fame brought fortune. And a young man with dark hair and sharp eyes, he stands there, notably carrying a bright red suitcase. He gazes into the 22nd Guild building, where the chosen ones enter and exit. But for our narrator, it was different. After all his attempts, he wasn't able to be selected. The life of a heroic player remained just out of reach. Instead of chasing glory in the dungeons, our reluctant hero is on a delivery run. A slick man in a suit steps out of a lavish room with a somewhat dismissive, welcoming smile. "Oh, you're here. Please put the food down on the table over there." The delivery boy, his face apologetic, could only bow, "Sorry I'm late." With a brief farewell, "Please enjoy your meal." The delivery boy was done and back on the bustling metropolitan street. Under the bright sunny sky, he zipped along on his small scooter, navigating traffic between sleek cars and large green buses. Though not a player, he continued his daily grind, passing radiant skyscrapers and massive advertisement screens. Always moving, always hustling. Tucked inside his helmet, the delivery boy's eyes suddenly went vacant, betraying a deep-seated emotion. His gaze was fixed on a colossal billboard, where a celebrated player dominated the skyline, with the bold text declaring, "The new hero from South Korea, Yu Suho." The portrait of this successful man shone brightly. Our delivery hero could only stare, the sadness and longing evident in his eyes. These are the most revered of all. Those with powers so astonishing, such as this prominent player who conjures a brilliant sphere of blue energy from his palm. With his silvery hair and majestic battle attire, he is one of the unique ability holders. Their capabilities are rare and powerful gifts, placing them at the very pinnacle of the new society. These players are more than just powerful. They are unstoppable forces. They are people with cheat-like abilities, their power far exceeding the norm. They are superhuman even among superhumans, towering above the crowd, enveloped in brilliant blue light and overwhelming might. In other words, they are monster-like players, an immeasurable source of strength that shifts the balance of any battle. Mid-thought about the monster-like superhumans and their wealth, our reluctant player is abruptly and rudely yanked back to reality. Honk! Honk! The blaring horn shatters the air. An angry voice from the car behind screams, "The light changed! Fucking move already!" Startled, the delivery boy can only stammer back an apologetic, I'm sorry." Glory was not his. and the daily grind remained unforgiving. And so, time passed. Finally, night had fallen, and the delivery shift was over. Under a full moon and the lonely glow of a yellow street lamp, our delivery boy reached a quiet corner of the neighborhood. He stands by his scooter, beneath the starry night sky. At the base of the lamppost, a familiar red mailbox, stuffed with letters, is a symbol of the mundane regularity of the life he leads. The mailbox! His gaze snaps into focus, an exclamation mark above his head. The delivery boy rushes forward, his face a mix of hope and anxiety, with the thump-thump of his footsteps audible on the pavement. He pulls out a stack of mail, and his face falls into a grim realization. These cursed papers are a reminder of the harsh reality. Loans, hospital bills, and this is from the school. The light of hope extinguishes, replaced by the crushing weight of his life. With a bitter look and a forced, rueful smile, the delivery boy lets out a heavy breath. Sigh. Clutching the troublesome bills, he asks himself the mocking, bitter question that echoes in his mind. What were you expecting? No invitation to become a player, no miracle revealed, just the cold, hard reality of life to be dealt with. With a click of the lock, he entered, trying to mask his fatigue and disappointment with a cheerful tone. I'm back, he announced, though quietly in the dim apartment. In response, a door opened, click, click, and a young woman with dark hair and a bright smile emerged. Appa, you're back? Thanks for the hard work, she added, a hint of concern in her voice. Why aren't you asleep yet? The girl responded with a shy little laugh, slightly embarrassed. I was doing homework. The man, frowning, asked the most critical question, with a hint of worry in his voice. Is Mom sleeping? She replied, She just fell asleep. She's sleeping more comfortably than usual. A rare comfort. In the bedroom, the mother is bundled under her covers, squeak, and the brother lets out a breath of relief. That's a relief. A small moment of peace in their anxious household. With a small, silent click, the brother turns his serious gaze back to his sister, remembering another critical duty. By the way, he says, his tone shifting to one of caring responsibility, did you give Mom her massage? The burden of this family's care weighs on both of them, but he is the one who makes sure every detail is covered. But then, the surprise. The sister beams brightly, her eyes sparkling, holding a small chocolate cake topped with a 1 and an 8 candle. She whispers with affection, Happy birthday! Whisper. The brother, in shock, a large question mark, can only stammer out his anxious concern. Where did you get the money to buy a cake? Suspicion quickly dawns. Wait. You didn't buy it with the money I gave you for new clothes, right? The sister replies innocently, What are you talking about? The mischievous sister smiles cryptically, boasting with a twinkle in her eye, I'm loaded. She then playfully challenges her brother, If you're going to eat it, I'll eat it all by myself. The brother, finally letting go of his suspicion for the moment, regards her with a look of appreciation. The sister continues, justifying her gift. You know I like chocolate cake, right? She whispers, giving a small, knowing chuckle. I bought it from a really famous place. A sweet, warm moment, momentarily lifting the burdens of the long day. The sister's face darkens for a moment, her smile fading as she admits a harsh truth. Even though summer clothes are worn out, to buy this, the brother, realizing her sacrifice, calls her name with a touch of remorse. Yu Jung! She turns back, confused. Huh? The brother sighs, attempting to lighten the mood, giving her a genuine smile and patting her head. Thanks. I'm happy I get to eat a birthday cake, thanks to my little sister. Yu Jung, now comforted, offers. Then do you want to read the letter before we have the cake? With a genuine smile, the brother agrees, holding up the stack of letters in his hand. Shall we? He steps forward, embracing his sister's proposition. Perhaps it was a letter she had written herself, offering a small bit of joy amidst the bills. Let me read the letter you wrote, he says, while the small birthday cake sits on the low table, thud, awaiting its moment. With a soft crackle, his fingers tear open the letter's envelope. But as he pulls out the contents and reads the words inside, his eyes snap wide open in utter disbelief and shock. All he can utter is a single syllable of surprise. Yuich. It was no ordinary birthday note. Seeing this reaction, the sister simply giggles, full of mischief. Heh heh. What? It was no bill or school correspondence. In his hands was an exquisitely crafted piece of paper, faintly glowing, emblazoned with the words, Player Invitation. The brother is stunned, his eyes wide in utter disbelief, his breath seemingly catching in his throat. Finally, a single unfinished thought escapes his lips. I dot, dot, dot. Has fate finally smiled upon him? Or is this a cruel joke by the universe? The moment of shock finally combusts into realization. With every ounce of pent-up belief and yearning, his eyes are wide, his mouth agape in ultimate astonishment. He screams, the sound echoing in the room, I'm a player? Amidst a burst of brilliant light, his entire life has just been irrevocably changed. With a smug little hey, the sister reveals her sweet deception. I wanted to surprise you, so I only took that one out of the mailbox. She had orchestrated this miraculous moment. She then bursts out, her face beaming with pure joy. Congrats, Appa! The brother, overwhelmed with emotion, embraces his sister tightly, a warm aura of light erupting behind them. Sound, grab, hug. Life had granted him a second chance, born from his sister's love. With tears streaming down his face and his expression alight with pure, unadulterated joy, the brother releases all the pressure he has been under. I did it! He cries out in triumph, his tears glistening gold under the bright aura. I really did it! He looks down, his eyes filled with fierce determination and hope. Now. Our lives can change. The path to wealth and glory, the path to salvation from debt, has finally opened. And, after the ecstatic moment, the brother looks into the darkened room where his mother lies on the bed, deep in sleep. His silhouette is framed by the doorway, the bright light from outside illuminating him. His face takes on a grave, resolute look as he tells himself, as long as I can obtain that. A silent vow is made, a commitment to sacrifice. His purpose is not just personal glory, but salvation for those he loves. The scene shifts to a tall, majestic building that exudes grandeur and authority. Towering proudly, piercing the sunlit blue sky, stands the headquarters of the Korean Players Association. In front, two massive warrior statues, holding spears, stand silently as ageless guardians. A small solitary man stands at the entrance, preparing to step into the seat of ultimate power. He was here. The man looks up, his eyes wide with awe, his body trembling slightly with the rush of emotion he'd long tried to suppress. Wow, he mutters involuntarily. All this effort, and he had finally made it. I'm finally. But resolve quickly snaps him back to the present, extinguishing any weakness. No. Now isn't the time to get all emotional. The task was still ahead. His face snaps into sharp focus, dark eyes hardening with steely resolve. With steady, deliberate steps, he casts off all doubt or fear. This was only the beginning. The path ahead was long, but with every footfall, he moved closer to his ultimate goal. Inside the headquarters, he was greeted by a woman with a warm, professional smile. Holding a clipboard, she offered a formal salutation. Congratulations, player Kim Gi-gyunim. Even the respectful honorific attached to his name caught Gyunim off guard. He could only respond with an awkward, slightly forced laugh, trying to mask his discomfort at this new level of recognition. The woman quickly moved into instruction mode. By saying status window, your player information will pop up. Why don't you try it out? Kim Gi-gyu follows her lead, uttering the command clearly. Status window! Instantly, a glowing cyan digital screen materializes before him, proudly displaying his identity. Kim Gi-gyu, level 1, unique ability. A chime confirms the action. Whoa! Surprise once again registered on his face. Kim Gi-gyu frowns, focusing on the missing piece of information on the status window. Huh? What does a question mark next to unique ability mean? At the sound of the question, the woman snaps her head up, her eyes wide with shock, perhaps at what she'd just read. She stutters, her voice ringing with excitement. Kikon, congratulations! You're a unique ability holder. She quickly elaborates. The question mark is there because your ability hasn't awakened yet. The news hit Kim Gi-gyu like a shockwave. His eyes were wide, surprise etched onto his face. Uh, He stared intently at the unique ability question mark line on the status window. It's real. The rushing emotion quickly turned into a powerful, almost disbelieving jolt. His face tensed, his lips trembling. I'm a unique ability holder? A life-altering moment of pure shock. The excitement was infectious. The woman jumps up in joy, cheering, "Ha ha ha! Congrats on being a unique ability holder." Meanwhile, Kim Gi-gyu, still reeling from the shock, felt his body trembling uncontrollably. I can't stop shaking. Another man, seemingly a player, is shown watching the scene. The woman, now composed, offers a calming smile. Relax. In a bit, the trainer will explain in closer detail. A deep voice cuts through the air from behind. Excuse me. The woman turns around immediately, her face bright with a smile. Ah, is the trainer here? But upon seeing the newcomer, her face twists into an expression of utter shock, her eyes wide. The man, with his striking white and blue hair and cool gaze, simply stands there. Player Yu Sukwu! She recognized him, clearly a figure of great importance or renown. Kim Gi-gyu was equally stunned, barely managing to stammer out the name. Player Yu Sukwu? The name clearly carried significant weight. Yu Sukwu, with a calm gaze and a confident half-smile, made his unexpected proposal. If it's not a problem, could I be the one to guide him? The offer hung in the air, marked by a silent, powerful exclamation point. Kim Gi-gyu points to himself in astonishment. Me? Yu Sukwu confirms with a nod and a simple reply. Yes. He explains the intervention was accidental. It wasn't intentional, but I overheard your conversation. Sukwu looks Gyu straight in the eyes, revealing the core reason. That you're a unique ability holder. Kim Gi-gyu's expression is one of utter shock at this sudden, high-level attention. Kim Gi-gyu glanced awkwardly at the two men who had just walked away, wondering why they had suddenly returned. Meanwhile, the administrative woman carefully considered Yu Sukwu's offer. Well, she began cautiously, normally it wouldn't be allowed. Even so, facing a request from a prominent player like Sukwu, she seemed to be wrestling with the official protocol. After a moment of internal debate, the woman made her decision. She beams brightly, with sparkling hearts and stars, denoting her delight and pride in assisting someone of importance. But I think I can allow it just this once. She clears her throat, asserting her authority. With my authority, it's entirely possible. So don't worry about a thing, Yu Sukwu Nim. I'm not just any manager, but a professional manager of 10 years. Yu Sukwu simply replies, Thank you. The arrangements were made. Now Kim Gi-gyu and Yu Sukwu stand in the portal zone. Before them, a colossal, swirling blue and purple gate, crackling with intense light and magical energy, dominates the scene. Kim Gi-gyu looks up in awe, his voice shaky as he declares that this is the portal to enter the tower! Exclamation mark. The journey was about to begin. Yu Sukwu turns to Kim Gi-gyu, his demeanor calm and serious. Shall we head in? Kim Gi-gyu, though still slightly nervous from the portal's presence, regains his composure and responds with a strong affirmation, Yes! He looks straight ahead, his gaze now fixed. Despite the unknown challenge, his seriousness and resolve have returned. They step through the portal. Yu Sukwu strides confidently in his battle gear, advising his companion, You don't have to be so nervous. Kim Gi-gyu, clearly still tense, stammers in response. Yeah. Yes. As they move deeper into the swirling, luminous space, Gyu tries to initiate an awkward conversation. Yu Sukwu Nim? Unexpectedly, a wide-eyed, perplexed, green-skinned creature, a goblin, pops into view. It appears to be asking a silent question. The scene shifts abruptly to a dense, dark forest, framed by tall, towering trees. The portal still glows brightly behind our two protagonists, but before them is an unbelievable sight, a massive monster wave of hundreds of goblins, all streaming towards them. Gyu asks in disbelief, "Are there normally this many monsters on this first floor?" Yu Sukwu reacts with surprising calm, despite the massive impending attack. He explains the unusual situation. Apparently, sometimes the spawn timers overlap, causing a monster horde. But this is my first time seeing it as well. Kim Gi-gyu yells out in alarm and disbelief, "Isn't that a major problem?" Yes, it certainly was a major problem, and it was heading their way at an alarming speed. Despite the massive monster horde, Yu Sukwu remains perfectly calm. He pulls a small dagger, looking ahead with determination. This is actually a blessing in disguise. With a confident air, he begins to walk toward the oncoming monsters. Now, I'll be able to explain things to you a bit quicker. Yusuku begins his first lesson amidst the impending battle. Do you know about the 100 goblin test? Kim Gigyu, gripping his sword, is slightly unnerved by the sight of a few already fallen goblins behind Sukwu, but manages to reply, yes. I heard that despite the great results, it was banned for being too dangerous. Yu Sukwu confirms, that's right. It was a test conducted to measure the hidden potential of a player under level 10. Yu Sukwu continues his explanation, his gaze directed outward, perhaps envisioning the coming test. Their hidden potential was measured by seeing how long it took them to kill 100 goblins without using any skills. He pauses, letting the word hang in the air for dramatic effect. If, without another word, Yu Sukwu rushes straight into the fray, his dagger flashing in the air. Above him, a glowing blue digital timer appears. 0 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. He continues his lecture mid-action. You cleared it in 4 to 5 hours. A speed that clearly serves as the benchmark for measuring potential. Bright red energy lines surrounding Sukwu indicate his phenomenal speed and power. Yu Sukwu moves like a whirlwind of blue light, effortlessly tearing through the goblin horde. He darts, leaving trails of energy as the monsters fall around him. He continues his explanation of the test. 2 to 3 hours. You have the potential to become a high-class player. The goblins surrounding him are mere obstacles, dispatched in a flash of movement. Yu Sukwu continues the carnage, delivering a powerful kick to dispatch the goblins surrounding him, with blood flying in the air. He delivers the final benchmark of the test. Clearing it in under 1 hour meant potential to become a ranker. Below, a dramatic close-up shows the goblins falling in terror, their bodies enveloped in the blue energy of his attack. Yu Sukwu finishes his lecture with a powerful statement, emphasizing the ultimate level of potential. You have the potential to become a high ranker. Kim Gi-gyu gazes up at Sukwu's display of speed and power, his face a mask of astonishment, his eye reflecting his own glowing sword. The reality of these potential tiers leaves him speechless. Amazing. The decisive moment had arrived. Yu Sukwu, the man with silvery blue hair and sharp eyes, finally made his move and declared, "Finally." The word confirmed the debut of a rare ability. The energy around him began to swirl, an icy blue vortex coiling around his body and engulfing a defeated figure. Yu Sukwu stated the nature of his power, the clear time of a unique ability. Holder is. He unleashed his move with full power, creating a brilliant blue energy surge and dazzling electrical sparks, accompanied by the sounds of ZZZK. This surge was the absolute discharge of energy. Yu Sukwu stood upright, his body entirely encased in the energy aura, and coldly announced the duration of his power. Following the strike, Yu Sukwu remained composed, declaring a time limit, 10 minutes. This affirmed that the extraordinary power just unleashed was stable and sustainable. Elsewhere, Kim Gigyu was witnessing it all with wide, terrified eyes and cold sweat. The psychological shock forced him to exclaim, "So, this is..." Kim Gigyu's mind reeled, recognizing the difference between ordinary power and Yu Sukwu's brilliant, icy energy. He was forced to confirm the source of this power. a unique ability holder. The initial fear was quickly replaced by intense, irrepressible admiration. He was compelled to utter a final word of praise, an acknowledgement of the unbeatable power. Kim Gigyu's shock and admiration peaked. He had to exclaim, "Incredible!" It was the final acknowledgement of Yu Suk-woo's overwhelming power. Waves of brilliant blue energy surged around Yu Suk-woo. He stood firm, composed, holding his weapon as a symbol of absolute control. Despite being in his most potent state, Yu Suk-woo remained practical and utterly focused on time management. Following his decisive move, he calmly announced the remaining time, a sharp countdown for his opponents. 47 seconds. This moment was a race against time, where Yu Suk-woo had set the rules and was now enforcing them with absolute precision. The scene switched to a tense dialogue between Kim Gigyu and Lee Ji-han. Kim Gigyu questioned an action, but Lee Ji-han replied coldly, "What do you mean, what's going on? I don't want to waste any time." The conversation quickly pushed Kim Gigyu to a decision. "Fine, I'll release my energy then." He was instantly enveloped by a black and red aura, declaring it was a unique ability, one that no one can match. And just then, the light shifted to another battlefield, where Yu Suk-woo, the man with silvery blue hair, was ready with his own power. Yu Suk-woo clenched his will and resolutely exclaimed, "Finally." With his declaration of "finally," Yu Suk-woo asserted, "The clear time of a unique ability holder is..." The icy blue energy coiled around him, releasing a dazzling surge accompanied by the sounds of ZZZK and SHIING. Yu Suk-woo stood upright, his body encased in the aura, then calmly declared the time limit, 10 minutes. Witnessing this absolute energy release from another location, Kim Gigyu watched with wide eyes, sensing the stark difference between ordinary power and Yu Suk-woo's icy energy. The psychological shock forced him to exclaim, "So this is..." Kim Gigyu was compelled to confirm the source of this power, a unique ability holder. The fear quickly transitioned into intense admiration, forcing him to utter the final praise, "Incredible." Following this acknowledgement, Yu Suk-woo maintained his composed demeanor, holding his weapon within the powerful energy flow. He was utterly focused on time management, displaying superior professionalism. After the decisive move, he calmly announced the remaining time, a sharp countdown for his opponents, 47 seconds. This moment was not just fighting, it was a race against time, where Yu Suk-woo had set the rules and was enforcing them with absolute precision, chilling Kim Gigyu and any other witness. The scene switched to a tense dialogue between Kim Gigyu and Lee Ji-han. Kim Gigyu questioned an action, but Lee Ji-han replied coldly, "What do you mean, what's going on? I don't want to waste any time." The conversation quickly pushed Kim Gigyu to a decision. "Fine, I'll release my energy then." He was instantly enveloped by a black and red aura, declaring it was a unique ability, one that no one can match. And just then, the light shifted to another battlefield, where Yu Suk-woo, the man with silvery blue hair, was ready with his own power. Yu Suk-woo clenched his will and resolutely exclaimed, "Finally." With his declaration of "finally," Yu Suk-woo asserted, "The clear time of a unique ability holder is..." The icy blue energy coiled around him, releasing a dazzling surge accompanied by the sounds of ZZZK and SHIING. Yu Suk-woo stood upright, his body encased in the aura, then calmly declared the time limit, 10 minutes. Witnessing this absolute energy release from another location, Kim Gigyu watched with wide eyes, sensing the stark difference between ordinary power and Yu Suk-woo's icy energy. The psychological shock forced him to exclaim, "So this is..." Kim Gigyu was compelled to confirm the source of this power, a unique ability holder. The fear quickly transitioned into intense admiration, forcing him to utter the final praise, "Incredible." Following this acknowledgement, Yu Suk-woo maintained his composed demeanor, holding his weapon within the powerful energy flow. He was utterly focused on time management, displaying superior professionalism. After the decisive move, he calmly announced the remaining time, a sharp countdown for his opponents. 47 seconds. This moment was not just fighting, it was a race against time, where Yu Sukwu had set the rules and was enforcing them with absolute precision, chilling Kim Gigyu and any other witness. The scene opened with a tense confrontation involving a character and Oh Seihan. Oh Seihan appeared to be in distress. However, the focus quickly shifted to another force. Yu Sukwu, the man with silvery blue hair, was prepared for his own fight. He clenched his will and resolutely exclaimed, "Finally!" The energy around him began to swirl intensely. Yu Sukwu stated the nature of his power, the clear time of a unique ability holder is. He unleashed his move with full power, creating a brilliant blue energy surge and dazzling electrical sparks, accompanied by the sound of ZZZK. This surge was the absolute discharge of energy. Yu Sukwu stood upright, his body entirely encased in the icy blue energy aura. He then calmly declared a time limit, 10 minutes. This affirmed that the extraordinary power just unleashed was stable and sustainable. Witnessing this absolute energy release, Kim Gigyu watched with wide eyes. The psychological shock forced him to exclaim, "So, this is..." Kim Gigyu's mind reeled as he recognized the difference between ordinary power and Yu Sukwu's brilliant icy energy. He was compelled to confirm the source of this power, a unique ability holder. The fear was quickly replaced by intense, irrepressible admiration. Kim Gigyu's shock and admiration peaked. He had to utter the final praise, "Incredible!" It was an acknowledgement of Yu Sukwu's overwhelming power. Following this acknowledgement, Yu Sukwu maintained his composed demeanor, holding his weapon within the powerful energy flow. He was utterly focused on time management, displaying superior professionalism. After the decisive move, he calmly announced the remaining time, a sharp countdown for his opponents. 47 seconds. This moment was not just fighting, it was a race against time, where Yu Sukwu had set the rules and was enforcing them with absolute precision, chilling Kim Gigyu and any other witness. A night-looking man notes with concern that the person running is terribly out of breath, wondering if he is attempting the Goblin Challenge, which is the latest craze. The knight reflects that killing 100 goblins would be difficult, and a bespectacled man beside him agrees, admitting that was his first thought too. Meanwhile, the exhausted man, sweat dripping from his face, forcefully calls out for the status window while struggling to catch his breath. As the man successfully summons the status window, it appears as a glowing blue glass-like object in his hand, causing him to gasp in surprise. He then recounts a significant event from his past, mentioning that he was invited to the tower when he was just 18 years old. Overcome by his current predicament, the man slams his fists down in frustration, cursing his fate. Back at the original location, the nervous knight speaks to the bespectacled man. Continuing his inner monologue, the exhausted man remembers that he even received a unique ability, something people call the privilege of a chosen one. A vivid flashback shows him kneeling defeatedly in the forest, his sword plunged into the ground beside him, as he bitterly concludes his struggle. Despite having that privilege, he reveals that after 5 long years, Novan mat kamot tieng jong ho chije git mot kon goblin. With a pained expression, the struggling man continues his thought, musing with disbelief. Who would have thought that there would be this kind of a player? As he ponders this, his status window is fully displayed, revealing his name as Kim Gigyu, his level as 1, and his unique ability as an ambiguous $? $? The scene shifts to an intense battle where a goblin is swiftly struck down by a precise attack. The fight ends quickly as Kim Gigyu, calm and composed, finishes the creature and exhales in relief, saying, "Phew." The view moves to a forest clearing. A group of adventurers stands around the fallen monster. Their leader praises the team, "Good work, everyone," adding, "You too, guide him." Kim Gigyu humbly replies, "Thank you for your hard work." Kim Gigyu asks, "Did you all level up?" One adventurer replies happily, "Yes." Another adds, "Goblins are pretty easy now." While a teammate laughs, "We didn't even kill that many, but we already leveled up." Smiling calmly, Kim Gigyu explains, "That's because you level up quickly in the early levels." Then he sets the next goal. "Tomorrow we'll go up to the second floor. I'll meet you at the entrance in the morning." The team responds loudly, "Yes!" Their unified voices echo through the forest, filled with excitement and determination for the challenges to come. The scene transitions to two adventurers discussing Kim Gigyu. The man in the blue and black jacket reveals, "That guide has a nickname," then adds, "among the players." His tone implies that Gigyu's name is both famous and infamous. Soon, the nickname is revealed: the player that can't level up. This explains his paradoxical reputation, respected yet pitied for his inability to grow stronger. The revelation highlights his unique status in the community. The scene then shifts to a quiet forest, where Kim Gigyu appears. After finishing his guiding job, he walks to a secluded place, calling it "my secret spot," a peaceful corner where few players go, a symbol of his solitude and quiet strength. The scene transitions to Kim Gigyu, hiding quietly in the forest. He explains that this place spawns only one goblin per day, his personal hunting ground. As he spots the goblin materializing, he grips his sword tightly, whispering to himself, "If I attack before it notices, it'll be an easy kill." His cautious movements show experience, but also desperation. This weak monster is his only daily chance to gain experience. The goblin snarls and approaches, unaware of the danger. Kim steadies his breath, eyes sharp and focused, ready to strike. The tension builds as hunter and prey silently prepare for a brief, decisive clash. The fight erupts in an instant. Kim Gigyu lunges forward, his sword slicing through the air toward the goblin. The creature reacts quickly, dodging and countering with wild swings. Sparks fly as their blades clash repeatedly. Kim grits his teeth, blocking and parrying each strike with determination. The forest echoes with the sound of metal and growls as the two exchange blows in a desperate struggle. Despite his focus, the goblin's speed surprises him, forcing Kim onto the defensive. Sweat drips down his face as he endures the relentless assault, waiting for the perfect moment to counterattack. Exhausted and frustrated, Kim Gigyu curses under his breath after a grueling fight. It had taken him a full hour just to defeat a single goblin. Returning to the Player Association building, he reflects bitterly on his situation. Despite the victory, his profit is minimal, 20,000 won from selling the goblin crystal. When he deducts the cost of potions, he realizes he's once again in the red. With a heavy sigh, he trudges down the empty hallway, burdened by disappointment and fatigue. As he opens a door, a familiar voice calls out, "Hey, Teo." Turning, he's greeted by a friendly face. His acquaintance smiles and says, "Sup, Gigyu." As Kim Gigyu prepares to leave, his colleague Teo greets him casually, asking, "You're clocking out?" Gigyu replies with a simple, "Yep." Teo, noticing how late it is, comments on the tough schedule, then receives a phone call. His expression changes, and after a brief pause, he apologizes to Gigyu with a regretful look. Confused, Gigyu continues down the hall. When he arrives at the guide department, another colleague, Taishik, greets him and asks if something happened with Teo. Before Gigyu can respond, Taishik explains the situation. The adventurers Gigyu guided earlier today will now be reassigned. From now on, Teo will take over responsibility for them. Shocked and confused, Gigyu demands, "What? Why?" as the weight of the unexpected decision begins to sink in. Taishik comments that things seemed fine earlier, but now it looks like the adventurers have heard the rumor about Kim Gigyu. Realizing this, Gigyu sighs in frustration and wonders what that has to do with his role as a guide. Taishik sympathizes but admits it can't be helped if the rumor's true. Gigyu then mentions hearing that the adventurers plan to clear the 15th floor soon, confirming what he had suspected. They plan to attempt it tomorrow morning, during the televised ceremony for new rankers. The two reflect on how obsessed people are with rankers, treated almost like celebrities in South Korea. Taishik notes that gates can open anywhere, and anyone has the potential to become a player, making the dream feel close to everyone. Gigyu quietly admits he once had the same dream, to rise and succeed, before his reality turned into something far different. Where's my next story? She asks. A world that's not so distant, you say, as every story begins with someone taking the first step in life. What? Gradually, the responsibility of being a player weighs heavier with each mission. And that world, the one everyone dreams of reaching, still feels out of grasp. Even though I'm already part of it, it feels so far away. Now that your adventure's coming to an end, huh? Huh? Why'd you turn it off? I was watching that. Just cause. Well, good work today as well. Thank you very much. As for Tejo, he might appear cold, but he really does feel sorry about it. So don't despise him too much. It's not Teo's fault. Besides, it's not something he should apologize for anyways. Well, make sure to come in early tomorrow and confirm all the information he needs. It's not enough as a replacement, but someone specifically requested for you. Pardon? Requested for me? My name is Kim Seonpil. Please take good care of me. Yes, nice to meet you. I'm Kim Gigyu, your guide. I've heard a lot about you from Sukwu Hyung. Sukwu, the scene shifts to a forest where several people gather. A man asks about another person's relation to someone named Min. The reply comes, "We're cousins," which surprises the others. Another man, Sukwu, quietly thanks him, revealing some tension or gratitude beneath his calm face. Then, attention turns to introductions. The leader of the group is asked to present his members. He gladly does so, introducing Yim Jae-hyun, Yoon Sung-woo, and Kim Hanul. Each person greets politely, expressing readiness to cooperate. The leader acknowledges the request to join their group and confidently declares that from today they will clear the tutorial floor in just 5 days. Assuming everyone is prepared, he leads the way while promising to explain further details as they move forward. The scene shifts to a peaceful evening sky, painted in warm colors. The group decides to end their journey for the day and start setting up their camp. While one member prepares the cooking fire, another offers help, but he politely refuses, saying he can handle it. Everyone starts arranging their tents as the sun begins to set behind the trees. Soon, the delicious aroma of food fills the camp. The others are amazed, asking if he used to be a cook. He smiles and invites everyone to sit down, saying the meal is almost ready. As they eat, one member curiously asks about a rumor, whether Yoon Jae-won's level doesn't go up. Jae-won calmly confirms it's true, adding that they can ask him anything they want to know. The group laughs, the atmosphere light and friendly. After finishing their hunt, the group gathers around a campfire, cooking and talking about their experience. They reflect on the hunt, saying it wasn't as difficult as expected, though one of them was slightly injured. Another member mentions that teamwork made everything go smoothly and praises everyone's effort. The leader calmly explains that the monsters on the first floor are easy to read and good practice for beginners. He encourages them to treat it as training to get used to killing and improving their combat instincts. Then, he warns them about the guardians, boss monsters, that protect each floor of the dungeon. These monsters require an entire guild or large party to defeat and drop valuable items. Even high-ranked hunters hesitate to face a guardian alone due to their extreme power. The group falls silent, realizing the true danger that awaits them deeper inside the dungeon. The scene continues with the group still discussing the dangers of guardians. The leader reassures everyone that there's no need to worry too much. He explains that guardians rarely appear, and there are special guilds dedicated to hunting them down. Low-floor guardians, he adds, are often subdued quickly by skilled hunters, before they cause much trouble. The group seems relieved by his words, believing they are safe for now. The story then shifts to a dark, eerie forest on the 4th floor of the tower. The narrator mentions that the barrier between forest and desert marks the next area. Suddenly, a violent attack breaks the silence. Blood splashes and screams echo through the night. A mysterious creature appears, crushing its prey mercilessly, revealing the true threat lurking in the depths. In the dark forest, under the moonlight, A group of monsters suddenly faces a terrifying attack. One is instantly ripped apart, its body shattered into pieces midair. Blood rains down as the others freeze in fear. From the shadows, a towering figure steps forward, muscles tense, eyes glowing with fury. The creature's overwhelming aura reveals its identity: a guardian, a being of immense power that rules the dungeon's depths. The scene shifts to a fierce night under the full moon. A monstrous creature with glowing eyes emerges, its muscles tense and body marked with red lines. As it roars, another being above disintegrates into countless shards, scattering through the dark sky like ashes. Each fragment fades into the wind, leaving behind an eerie silence. The creature below clenches its teeth, steam rising from its body, symbolizing raw power and fury, ready to be unleashed. The night trembles with ominous energy as darkness deepens. The scene shifts to a moonlit forest where adventurers rest after a fierce battle. On the third day, in the second floor of the tower, orcs had ambushed them, but they fought back hard and survived. By the third floor, they encountered orcs and goblins, though their alliance was weak. Among them, a warrior's precise and skillful movements turned the tide. His calm strategy guided the team safely through danger. As night fell, the leader reflected in his diary, recording each moment since receiving the invitation, a quiet resolve beneath the starlit sky. Under the night sky, the group gathers around the campfire, laughter echoing softly through the quiet forest. After a long day of battles and exploration, they relax, joking about the future and wondering what classes they'll receive. Some dream of becoming rankers and writing their own stories. The warmth of the fire eases their fatigue, but a silent tension lingers beneath their smiles. As the others drift into laughter, one of them gazes at the moon in deep thought. His expression hardens, and he mutters quietly, "The fifth floor," a reminder of the trials still ahead. The group advances to the fourth floor of the tower, facing hordes of orcs and goblins once again. Though these enemies are faster and stronger than before, the team charges forward without hesitation. Blades clash and battle cries echo through the cold air as each member fights fiercely. Amid the chaos, one figure stands apart, calm, observant, and strategic. His sharp eyes track every movement, analyzing patterns while others rely on brute strength. The contrast between instinct and precision reveals his growing power, hinting that the real test has only just begun. The battle against the orcs rages on under the clear sky. Arrows fly, blades clash, and dust rises from the ground. Amid the chaos, the protagonist narrows his eyes, noticing a massive dust cloud forming in the distance. His instincts scream danger. A guardian isn't supposed to appear today. Tension spikes as realization hits. Something is terribly wrong. Without hesitation, he shouts for everyone to retreat, urgency cutting through the battlefield noise. The team scrambles to finish the fight quickly, unaware of the overwhelming threat rapidly approaching from beyond the horizon. The protagonist recalls a truth learned through countless battles. The tutorial of this world is no game. As the team fights fiercely, he observes every move with cold focus. A brief lapse, a single moment of carelessness, is all it takes for tragedy to strike. One warrior falters, another screams his name as blood splatters across the field. The enemy's blade finds its mark, and chaos erupts once more. In that instant, the lesson becomes painfully real. Hesitation means death, and survival belongs only to those who never let their guard down. The battle spirals out of control. The protagonist curses under his breath as chaos consumes the field. A single mistake can mean total annihilation. He knows it all too well. Then, the ground trembles, and an ominous roar cuts through the air. From the swirling dust, a massive figure emerges, eyes glowing red with fury. Its presence alone sends waves of dread across the battlefield. The others freeze in terror, realizing what stands before them. With a sinking feeling, he utters the name of their worst nightmare, a guardian. The guardian's appearance shakes everyone to their core. Realizing they stand no chance, the leader clenches his teeth and shouts orders. "Everyone, get ready to run!" His voice cuts through the chaos as he pulls a smoke grenade from his belt. A loud hiss fills the air. and thick white smoke spreads across the battlefield, covering their retreat. Through the haze, he spots his teammates struggling to carry the wounded. There's no time to hesitate. Survival is all that matters now. The smoke grenade explodes, buying them precious seconds. Hurry! You need to escape now, the leader shouts as they sprint through the haze. The sound of monsters roaring behind grows louder, shaking the ground. Where are we headed? Someone gasps, struggling to keep up. Just follow me. I know a hiding spot. The team pushes forward until a narrow cave entrance appears ahead. One by one, they rush inside, collapsing from exhaustion. For the moment, they're safe, but the tension in the air makes it clear this is only a temporary refuge. Breathing heavily, the survivors try to recover inside the cave. What was that just now? One asks. It looked like a giant orc, the guide replies grimly. I think it was the guardian of the fourth floor. I don't know why it appeared, but we should observe for now. We have enough rations, so let's wait for rescue. Suddenly, someone shouts, Guide Nim! Hanul looks like she's in a bad state. The guide rushes over. She's pale and trembling. She was poisoned by the goblins, he says, and don't worry. She'll recover once she takes the antidote. A man frantically searches for something, shouting, Where is it? He realizes he made a mistake in his hurry and tries to stay calm. He reminds himself not to panic and to think clearly. Gathering his resolve, he tells the others that he'll go outside to call for help. The group reacts in shock, warning him that it's too dangerous. The man reassures his team, saying he's done the tutorial many times and knows what he's doing. He plans to shoot a flare from the top of a hill to request rescue. Though he seems calm, he knows the situation is dangerous. He notices the monsters are acting differently and can't predict their moves. He decides to find another route, hoping to finish quickly and return safely. The man steels himself, deciding he only needs to avoid the Guardian. However, the Guardian suddenly erupts with dark energy and charges at him. Shocked, the man tries to dodge but is struck hard. The impact sends him crashing into the ground, tumbling down violently. He lands in water, gasping for breath, but still alive. The man struggles to stand after falling into the water, realizing he's face to face with a powerful monster. Out of all possible enemies, he's unlucky to meet this one. Knowing he can't win directly, he decides to escape quickly. He fires a flare and plans his next move carefully. Believing his knowledge of the area gives him an edge, he searches for a way to survive. He arrives at the entrance of the fifth floor test, glowing with ominous purple light. He recalls how he once considered challenging it, but held back because of his family. For someone at level 1, only death awaits inside. Exhausted, he questions why he came here anyway. Realizing he's trapped with no escape, he braces himself as danger approaches. Cornered and bleeding, he faces two choices: a certain death or an uncertain one. Refusing to give up, he decides to take the risk. With a fierce cry, he rushes toward the glowing gate. The door opens, engulfing him in blinding light. A system voice announces his entry into the first testing site.